Good morning everyone. I am Shabna Fatma. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about global alignment. First of all, we have to know what is sequence alignment. Sequence alignment means it's a way of arrangement of DNA or RNA or protein sequences, and using and by studying this sequence alignment we can establish the structural, functional or evolutionary relationship among various organisms. So the method of sequence alignments are global alignment and local alignment. When the sequences are very much similar, we use global alignment, and when the sequences are different, we use local alignment. So let's learn how to perform global alignment. For performing global alignment, first of all we have to select two similar sequences. So here we select two sequences, one is TCG and another one is ATCG. So first of all, write the sequences, one in the around the x-axis and another along the y-axis, and then left. The rule number one is leave a gap at the very first beginning. So I left the gap, then make a complete box. So here we make a box, and then in the very first box we have to write 0, because we have to, rule number 1 says that we have to make a gap at the beginning. So gap gives what? Gap gives 0. So we have to put 0 at the very first box, and then we have to insert the gap value in the boxes. So we assume the gap value as -2, the match value as +1, and mismatch value as -1. So first of all we have to put the gap value in the very first columns and rows. So we put at the after inserting 0, in a box, in front of a box, after inserting 0 we have to write the gap value. So first of all I put -2 and then add the gap value. So the box value plus the gap value -2. -2 plus -2 is -4. So I have to write -4 in a box in front of C, and then add the gap value to -4, that is -6, right in front of G. Now in the same manner, in this side, first of all after inserting 0 in front of A, I have to write -2, that is the gap value. Then in front of T we have to write the gap value plus addition of the previous value, that is -2. So -2 plus -2 -4, then again add the -2 value to the previous value gives -6, and then again addition of -2 gives -8. After doing this, now for every box we can have the three values, one coming from the bottom box, one coming from the beside box, and one coming from the diagonal box. So in case of beside box, we have to write the, in case of the beside box, we have see here, when the value comes from the beside box we have to add the gap value. When the value is coming from the bottom box we have to add the gap value, but when the value is coming from the diagonal box we have to see for the match or mismatch. So in this case, for this box, the value coming from the beside box, the value is -2. In this box the value is -2, and when we have to see the value for this box, the value coming from the beside box is as follows: -2 plus the gap value -2 gives -4 for the value -4 for this box, and the value coming from the bottom box gives again -4, because -2 plus gap value -2 gives -4, and the value coming from the diagonal box gives -1, because 0 plus minus plus because in case of diagonal box we have to see for match or mismatch. So look here, for this box, here it is A, here it is T. A and T is a mismatch, so the value of mismatch is -1. So 0 plus -1 gives -1. So the three value for this box is -4, -4 and -1. So the highest value among the three values is -1. So we have to write the highest value. So write -1 in this box and put a diagonal arrow, because this -1 value comes from the diagonal box. Now after doing this, we have to go for the next box. Now in this box, the value, again doing the same thing, we have to see that the value coming from the beside box gives what. Here in the beside box we have the value -1. Now -1 plus gap value, that is -2, gives -3. And if we see from the bottom box, the bottom box is having a value of -4. So -4 plus gap value, that is -2, gives -6. So from the bottom it gives -6. And when we looks from the diagonal box is having a value of -2. So when we is going to put a value from the diagonal box, we look for match and mismatch. So for assuming the value of this box, we have to see the corresponding nucleotide sequence. So here it is A, here it is C. So A and C is a mismatch, so the value for mismatch is -1. Now the diagonal box is having a value of -2 and the mismatch value is -1. So -2 plus -1 is -3. So among the three values for this particular box, we have three values, that is -3, -3 and -6. -3 value, -3 is coming from the diagonal box also and from the beside box also, and the value of -6 is coming from the bottom box. So among these three values, the highest value is -3, and it is coming from diagonal box and beside box. So we have to write here -3 and make two arrows, one diagonal, one from diagonal and one from beside. Now in the same manner, fill up every box. Like after -3, look at this box. The value for this box can come from beside box, come from bottom box, and come from diagonal box. If it comes from beside box, now if it comes from beside box, just simply add the gap value to the beside value. So beside value is -3 and gap value is -2. So the value can be -5 if it comes from the beside box. Now the value if come from the bottom box, the bottom box is having a value of -6 plus gap value is -2, so it is -8. Now if it comes from the diagonal box is having a value of -4. We go for we look for match and mismatch. So A and G is a mismatch and the value for mismatch is -1. So -4 plus -1 is what? minus 4 plus minus 1 is minus 5. So we should look कि among the three values which value is the highest. So the highest value is minus 5 and it comes from the diagonal box. So we put minus 5 in this box and make a diagonal arrow. Now in the same manner we should fill the entire box. After filling the entire box, we should find the maximum value from this box. So the maximum value is plus 1. It is in the top right corner. So just circle that highest value. Here when the complete box is filled up, our first process is complete, that is making of scoring matrix. Now we should move to second step, that is trace back. Trace back. What do you mean by trace back? We should trace its path. The highest value in our box is plus 1. So we should see from where this plus 1 value came. So the plus 1 value came from the diagonal box. So just make the reverse arrow. So just return back diagonally. Now when we return diagonally, we come to a box having a value of 0. Now let's see from where this 0 value came. It again came from the diagonal box. So just make arrow in a diagonal direction. After that we came to a box having a value of minus 1. Now see from where this minus 1 value came. It again came from the diagonal box. So just make a diagonal arrow. Now when we came to minus 2, it is now when we came to minus 2, stop there. Our trace backing process is almost completed because we make opposite, we trace the path. Okay, and we came near to 0. So our second step, that is trace back, is also over. Now the third step is alignment. How we should know the alignment. Now just go to the highest value, that is plus 1. Now see what sequences are present corresponding to plus 1. So when we see the value plus 1, we see that when we observe its row and column, we see the nucleotides G and G. So we should write simply G and G. Now then moves to 0. In this now moves to 0, looking for the corresponding nucleotides. So its row and column tells us about the nucleotides C and C. So just write down C and C. Now move to minus 1 because we are tracing back. Now in the box minus 1, we are having two nucleotides corresponding to their columns and row, that are T and T. So just write down T and T. Then moves to minus 2 and write down A and gap. So our alignment is complete. We wrote ATCG and gap TCG. These are the two sequences for which we were performing the global alignment. So friends, this is all about the global alignment. If you like the video, please do like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Jai Hind.